What is heart disease? Many people have no idea. In most cases, there's nothing wrong with the heart except that the powerful coronary arteries, the arteries that bring blood to the heart muscle, become obstructed. They become narrowed. We talk about hardening of the arteries. It's a process where the arteries begin to narrow down and blood can no longer flow at the optimal level. I want to show you a little video clip that will help you to understand what heart disease really is. It's called atherosclerosis. Narrowing and hardening of the arteries, our main killer disease in Western society.
We don't have a health crisis in this country. We have a lifestyle crisis in this country for health.
Many patients that you can identify, it's their lifestyle. It's at the root of their problems.
Remember, the first sign of many heart attacks, 40%, the first sign is sudden death. There's not much you can do after that.
I first woke up, so to speak, when I was working on the anesthesia service, learning how to put people to sleep. And I was seeing my patients for the next day's surgery for coronary artery bypass surgery in order to bypass clogged arteries in their heart. Because it was late at night, I drew the man's blood test, and when I took the blood to the laboratory and had it processed, I couldn't believe my eyes. Now, normally, this liquid layer floating on top of the blood clot is quite transparent. It's a yellow, but quite clear. You can see right through it. The blood in this patient's tube, however, was anything but clear. The serum floating on his clot was thick and greasy white. It looked like glue. In fact, it stuck to the sides of the blood tube when I shook the tube. I went back to the patient. I said, "Mr. Phillips, did you eat before you came to the hospital tonight?" He said, "Yes." I said, "What did you have?" He said, "I had a cheeseburger and a milkshake." And when he said that, I realized that what I was looking at in his tube was all the fat in the beef burger, all the butter fat in the cheese, and the butter fat in the ice cream and in the milkshake. And all this fat had oozed out into his blood and actually turned his blood fatty. Well, 30, 40, 50 years of keeping your blood very fatty creates changes in the blood vessels that are very dangerous.
Over the years, arteries can become clogged with fatty material. Then a blood clot can form, blocking the blood flow completely. If the artery leads to the heart, the lack of oxygen can cause heart muscle to die. That's a heart attack. If the clogged artery leads to the brain, the patient has a stroke.
The next morning, we took Mr. Phillips to the operating room, and I put him to sleep, and the surgeon opened up his chest. And from these arteries, he began pulling out yellow, greasy deposits of fatty material called atherosclerosis.
Did you see the killer? Did you see it? Do you want to see it again? No, not really, do you? But that's the problem. You see, you have a general narrowing of the arteries, and it's not just the coronary arteries, the arteries to the heart, but it happens to all the major arteries in the body. Any idea how many miles of blood vessels you have in your body? What do you think? 5 miles? 20 miles? 50 miles? 150 miles? When you take all the circulatory system of the body, you add all these vessels, the small capillaries, the larger vessels, you add them all up, you're ending up with 60,000 miles of blood vessels. And here's the lesson. Perfect health depends on perfect circulation. Unless you take care of the arteries, they cannot take care of you, because the arteries, they bring all the nutrients, they bring this oxygen, they bring everything to the cells so the body can operate well. So your health depends on a good circulatory system. And here's then the important lesson. We want to keep these arteries as flexible and as pliable, like a rubber band, as possible. And then, it's probably true, you are only as young as your arteries.